Before we kick off the conversation, I just wanted to share a little bit about our subject matter expert today, the aforementioned Gracey Cantalupo, Aptarro's Vice President of Marketing. Gracey is a seasoned B2B software as a service marketing executive with 2 successful exits and a track record of scaling revenue from 1 million to 20 million. As VP of Marketing at Aptarro, she brings 15 plus years of go-to-market experience to every growth playbook. Known for making brands look and perform bigger than the competition, Gracey is a hands-on leader who builds tech stacks that drive pipeline, reduce sales cycles, and help sales and marketing achieve their revenue goals. So we're in great hands today. And with that, I'll pass it off to you, Gracey.
Thanks, James. Really excited to be here. Very excited to talk about one of my favorite topics, which is branding. I love gifts. I love buying things. I love picking stuff. So I love to talk about gifts and our gifting strategy and how that ties all into our rebrand, both engaging our customers and our employees. So really excited to be here. Thank you so much. And then James already did the honors to introduce me, so I don't have to talk about myself, which is fabulous. We love that. So we'll just skip right over that part. Perfect. And I'll tell you a little bit about Aptarro so you can have some context. So Aptarro is a healthcare B2B SaaS company. We work with large providers and hospital systems, basically helping them cut through all the complexity. It is so hard to get their claims paid. They have to go through provider hoops and coding requirements that are always changing. So we help our customers break through that complexity, and we help them make right easy so they can get paid, and hopefully we all get better patient care. So that's what we're all after here at Aptarro. So a little bit more about Aptarro. We have over 630 customers. We've been in business for over 40 years, and we really strive to help our customers make right easy. We're proven, we're trusted, and we've got the results to get it done and help them do that. So really excited to talk a little bit about our brand rebrand journey and how that ties in to our gifting strategy. So let's talk about the rebrand. Whether you've been through one or not, there's some great lessons learned and some great tidbits I'm so excited to share with you all. Also at the end, I love to talk about a good dumpster fire, a good lessons learned. So I'll definitely, kind of share that real talk with you as well, and hopefully prevent you not having to relearn some of the lessons that we learned. So I think the first question usually comes down to, why are you rebranding? Why even do it? The company's been in business for 40 years. What's the point? We are a conglomerate of 3 different companies. So started with Alpha 2, then RCX Rules and Healthy Filings came into the picture. And while we have all this great institutional knowledge, we have multiple products that we sell that all deliver on that value proposition. Things were siloed, things were confusing, the market was confused after we came together. Our employees were siloed, they were confused, and only working on one product at a time. So really it's a name change, but it also symbolizes a bold commitment that we are making both to our employees and to all of our customers. And we just really wanted to come together and clarify that message. So that was the major reason for the rebrand. And to set the stage, this was not a quick project. This was long. It actually started before I even joined the company. So I have a relaunch schedule timeline here. We're still over here in the March Q3 era. We need to still deliver those things, but it actually started back, almost a year ago in Q2 of 2024. I didn't join the company until September of 2024. So the CEO championed this. They wanted to rebrand, really bring all those things together, like I mentioned on the previous slide. So there was lots of work that was done. Great branding agency, Pitch Maps, really helped us refine our message. Great design firm called Matchsticks really helped us bring that brand vision to life. And so we actually did a brand reveal to our customers only to our employees only in October, before we made the public announcement, because we wanted to get our employees on board. We wanted them to understand why we were doing it. While the companies that we brought together under one company has been in business over 40 years. We have employees that have been here 20 plus years. And so we really wanted to get them on board with the change and help them understand the why, because they're going to be our biggest cheerleaders. They're the ones building the product or talking to customers. So important that we rallied around that employee engagement. And then we've got some more stuff that have happened after that, but most of the time we'll talk today about this October big event that we did. I will talk a little bit about other things we've done outside the rebrand as well, but didn't want to make it seem like this all got done in a month. No big deal. It is an actual entire plan, and she's still ongoing. So on the note of bringing employees kind of in and into the fold, we really wanted the employees to get on board. We really wanted them to understand why. We really wanted to take them through the journey and get them really excited. So we wanted them to be the first to feel the brand shift and, again, get excited. Because if they're not excited, it's going to bleed through to our customers. So we actually did an early reveal party before the public announcement. So in October, I would say early October, we brought multiple teams together. So we had 2 offices, one in Burlington, Vermont, and one in Tallahassee, Florida. And then we also had remote employees. We had about 50 employees that were joining remote from all over the US. And I don't know if anyone in the audience has ever done multiple location events simultaneously plus a remote scenario, but hybrid is hard. Hybrid is way harder than just doing remote or just doing in person. So we really put a lot of thought into how do we bring this together and have the same experience for our remote employees and in the 2 separate offices. So we had a really big vision to have some simultaneous fun. So we had 2 different parties going on in each office, but we still had activations for the remote employees as well. So to set the stage a little, in Tallahassee and in Burlington, everyone got into a conference room at each location, and we all watched together our CEO and other leadership talking about our brand shift and why we did it, why it was important to rename, why we chose the name Aptarro, why we went black and white in a sea of healthcare, which is normally blue and green, and if you're edgy, a little orange. We actually went black and white and tried to stay bold. We really wanted a high editorial B2B SaaS feel that didn't feel like a legacy healthcare brand, because we wanted to bring all that together in a fresh perspective. So that was a lot for employees to take in. They were very surprised it was all black and white. They were very surprised that we went with that approach. And so walking them through the why, taking the time to do that, it was about a 20-minute video that everyone watched at the same time to explain it, was so helpful in that context and getting that buy-in. So after the business, we got to party. So each Tallahassee and Burlington broke out into, we had a catered lunch and we had tons of activities for them to do. So we had photo booths at both locations and a virtual photo booth they could join. We did some gifts as well as some static fun images you see here. We had a contest to activate it where they got to win more swag. And we also played some games at different locations to help them interact with the brand. The headliner of that interaction was everyone got to open at the same time a new swag box. So we needed to orchestrate this, and our vendor Printfection was so helpful. We got all the boxes shipped out either to the offices or to the remote employees' homes. And they all had like yellow caution tape that we designed that you'll see in another image that's like, do not open until this date. I'm sure someone did, but we were trying to have fun with it. We didn't want it to look like an explosive type thing, but we went with construction tape. So they do a great job of helping us bring those creative visions to life. So they all got to open their swag and they loved it. They loved, we have some great stuff in there. The headliner was, everybody wants a Stanley these days. So we had our Stanley mug. We had a Nike hat. We had a charging box that also sanitizes your phone. We had stickers that they could use to put on their laptops and their phones, which I have mine somewhere. And then we got a new moleskin notebook and new pens. So they had some great stuff to put out on their desk to take home with them and just be reminded of the new brand every day. And in that, we also included our new brand elevator pitch and new logo in a postcard type format. So they all had that as well. So that was really exciting. The one thing that was hard to replicate if someone was at the two parties and, you know, present all together versus remote is having them all have lunch together. So Tallahassee and Burlington, we had catered lunches, but what to do for the remote employees? And we were going to go through something else very complicated. And luckily our Printfection contact and vendor was like, hey, we can actually help you do gift cards and we can send them out via email and they can order lunch for themselves. So at least they also get lunch. It's not like since you weren't present, you don't get it. And the gift cards just made it so easy for them to redeem it for this or save it for their family to do something else. So seems like a small thing, but it really made such a difference to those remote employees because they tend to get left out if they're not in the physical offices. So I think that was a really powerful thing to think through all of those details, not just on me, my whole team did as well, because some of them were remote and weren't in any of the physical parties either. So all of that came together, you know, knowledge about why we're rebranding, message from the CEO, rah moment, fun party time, and then of course the great swag and trying to have a engaged experience across whether you are in one of the offices or remote. So that was something we're really proud of in the execution of it and all that thoughtfulness. And all of that just came through as we were talking to the employees and getting their feedback too. They were so excited to be included across the board. So internal hype, check. And then the swag. So I talked a little bit about it and I've got some images here. I did an unboxing video that we posted on LinkedIn. Oh, I forgot we had a fun candle in there too. We wanted a little wellness element with the water bottle and the candle. The swag was so much fun. It sparked buzz. You know, we had some great selfies with the swag in the photo booths. We had some really great feedback on the quality of swag that we picked. And it really just created an instant brand connection, something people can be excited about. It's one thing to see a logo on a screen, but to have the swag in your hand before the new website's even live was so exciting for them. And yeah, I think it really just set across the great expectation. We spent a little coin on it too. We didn't buy cheaper things. We didn't cinch on it. I think you can kind of see in the image the little yellow caution tape in the box as well. So we had that unifying moment where everyone opened it all at the same time. So everybody was loving the swag. So that takes us through the rebrand. Beyond that, I think it's one thing to give someone a gift or do a new brand launch and have a new swag kit, but what do you do with it after that? So we had some really great ideas and we're continuing to evolve that, but I wanted to share some of that with you all as well. It's not just a drop in the pan and we're doing one brand launch and we're done. We're keeping the gifting going and the swag going to keep our employees and our customers engaged. So the swag that we did for the rebrand launch actually evolved into our new hire swag. So my unboxing video, I posted it on social and we've had some new employees do that as well, which has been really fun to see. Everyone loves to start a new job and then get a box of swag. It's one thing to get your new laptop and your phone and the things you need, but to have that thoughtful element of also getting a box shipped to your house on the first day that you start is so exciting. So yeah, it's our new hire template. Great first impression. Really enforces that visual identity and that connection to our new brand from day one as a new employee. And then, you know, it's just a great way to welcome people to the team. Even if they weren't here for the rebrand, they get their swag on day one. And then again, this is like, it's one thing to send out a gift, that you get in the holidays, and it's a nice, thoughtful thing that you get in the mail from your employer. That's great. I think vendors like Printfection actually help you take it a step further. We did a holiday gift this year, but we didn't want to just mandate, this is your gift and this is what you're getting. We actually sent a nice note from the CEO. We designed it, kind of jazzed it up, holiday Aptarro style. And then we let them pick their own gift. So we had 4 or 5 gifts for them to choose from. Some of them were size-based, like a zip up, which was really popular. And they ran out. When they were gone, they were gone. But with a vendor like Printfection, you can set that up and let your employees choose which gift do they want. Really shows that personal touch, allows them to make a selection. And yeah, people just feel seen. They get a choice. They're not just checked off a proverbial holiday list. They're like, oh, okay, they were thoughtful. They gave us great options. So we actually did a Oakley backpack, an Eddie Bauer zip up. We did a different cup. So we got the Stanley, but there were some boys on the team that were like, the Stanley's a little girly. What about a Yeti? So we made the Yeti part of the holiday gifting so everyone felt seen and represented. And then we also had a really cool fleece blanket, because sometimes people get cold in their offices. So those are the selections that people were allowed to choose from. And we got great feedback from the employees about the choices. So that's been a big hit. And then we took the same approach for client gifting as well. So instead of just sending a thank you for certain customers and certain partners or even prospects, thanking them for spending the time, doing a meeting, etc., we set up a similar site with Printfection where we've got multiple gifts for them to choose from. The screen grab I grabbed only has 2, but we've got 5 or 6 on there now. So if we've got a great prospect that is, moving through the pipeline and we want to, thank them, or we've got a great partner that keeps bringing us referrals, they might get multiple gifts. So we wanted to have multiple options for them to choose from. So that has been great. People love that. And bonus, if for whatever reason, if they prefer to donate to a charity or they can't accept a gift at their organization, Printfection has this great option where you can choose to donate an amount to a charity versus accepting a gift. So I love that. And in some of the more regulated industries, that's super required. So still, the thought still counts. They still get to get the appreciation, but they can choose a charity instead. All right. So I know we've got some questions in the audience. I know there's some lessons learned I would like to cover as well. So I'll start there, and then maybe we could take some questions, James. I think the biggest lesson and takeaway is employees really are your first brand champions. So whether you have an existing brand or you're rebranding or you're pivoting in some way or you've got new messaging, you got to get your employees on board first. You can't just be the marketing team that launches that with sales in a vacuum. You have to get the employees buy-in. They know your customers, they talk to them, they represent your brand every day via email or phone or building the product. So it's just so important to double down on that employee first perspective when you are getting buy-in on anything, new branding, new messaging, etc. I really think generic giveaways aren't the way anymore. That's not impressive to people anymore. I think smart gifting, making it super easy for people. Don't make it hard for people to claim a gift. Don't make them choose from 50,000 things. Like they just don't have time for that. I think, every time I get a gift card, unless it's something I use all the time, I'm like, yes, Starbucks or sure, Nordstrom's. But if it's like a gift card, I have to think about what to spend it on. You're giving me something to do. I think smart, thoughtful gifting is so much better, leaves so much better of an impression. Give them less choices, but give them choices and be as thoughtful as you can. And the next is to personalize things as much as possible. So let's say you're thanking a prospect or thanking a partner and you send them a gift link. You can be like, here's a gift. Or you can kind of coach your sales team to be like, hey, write a personal note. Here are some examples. Hey, Lily, great talking to you the other day. Really excited about our upcoming partnership. I know we were both talking about always trying to get in our ounces every day and drink enough water. Got a great, Yeti here for you, or a Stanley, or you can pick another gift. So that little thoughtfulness, that little extra customization goes a long way to help them realize, oh, okay, this is like personal for me. They thought about me and thought this would be a good gift. Like one of the options was a backpack, or one of the options being a blanket. Oh, I know you were like snuggling up with your big shawl while we were on the phone. There's a down blanket you can keep under your desk as an option too. Things like that. Listen, engage, be thoughtful. And yeah, the thoughtful gifting is really great relationship building, and it becomes emotional ROI. So those are my big takeaways and lessons learned. But James, what do we got? What else you got?
That was great. Really was. I really enjoyed the Yeti versus Stanley Cup story. I thought that was funny. And it leads us to one of our first questions. What's one of the downsides you didn't see coming from the rebrand?
Yeah, thank you for that. I think I love branding. I'm a marketer at heart. I've always been in marketing. Brand is important to me. It feeds pipeline and all the things that sales cares about. And to me, it's a no-brainer. Like, yes, looking at the old logos, looking at how siloed the team was, looking at how confused the market was on all the products that Alpha 2 was selling, and the pivot to Aptarro made so much sense to me. So it was a no-brainer. But what's surprising to me is some people thought it was a waste of money. Some people complained that that's money that we should have spent on headcount or something else. They just didn't see the immediate value in it. And while that's surprising to me because of my background and what I know about B2B SaaS and what I've seen be successful, you're not going to change their minds. Just do what you know is best and right for the company and the brand, and don't falter and stay true to it. I know it might be hard for them to see the value, but I also know that very soon we're going to see it in the revenue. So I'll save that for then. But yeah, you can't convince everybody, and you just have to do what you know is right for your brand.
All right, thanks for answering that. Our next question is, what surprised you the most about how employees responded to the rebrand rollout?
Yeah. So I had mentioned before that we have the 2 offices plus the remote employees, and it was a lot to plan. It was important to me, as coming previously from an all remote culture, to connect everyone together. So I felt like it was important. Usually if you do something really well, it's unnoticeable, and people only, they'll complain about the wrong things, right? Or the missteps. And to me, the measure of success was, okay, if no one complains, then we executed this like synchronicity very well. But it was the opposite. The remote employees were so grateful that they were thought of and weren't just like, oh yeah, you got the video and you'll get your swag, but you were left out of the photo booth and you didn't get lunch and you didn't get to play trivia and you didn't get to do those things. So I think I knew it was important, but what I was really surprised by is like how it was so seen and so noticed by the remote employees. The in-person employees at the parties had a great time too. But for me, that was like, oh, okay, good. I knew it was important. I'm so glad that they felt it too.
I think that's a great lesson with like the hybrid work from home and offices now that we have nowadays, that actually was successful. That's a really big win for you guys. Yeah. Piggybacking off that, what's the biggest mistake you see companies make when it comes to gifting?
Yeah, I love this question. Going cheap, going generic. Yep. I like nice things. Most of us like nice things, right? And I think you can tell when you open up a swag box and it's the generic Stanley. You can tell when that's not a real Yeti. You can tell when that's the off brand of the thing. And in the grand scheme of things, it probably saved the company a few bucks per piece, but you're going to long forget how much you spent as a company on that. But that employee is never going to forget that they got a generic cheap Stanley and the company kind of cheaped out on them. So for me, a Stanley dupe doesn't make anyone feel special. So I'd rather go for one thing that's really meaningful than five mid things. So I think go for the thing that's popular that you know people are going to love, even if it's a little bit more expensive. Employees are going to remember it. When we did our new hire or rebrand swag, the Nike hat and the Stanley were a huge hit. The Nike hat, I have it in the video. I don't think I have it with me here, but it's black, and then our arrow part of our logo is black stitching. So it's a nice black on black with a little white kind of swoop across the bill. People loved that, but their kids loved it. And their kids, like I had people complain that their kids stole their hat. Can I have another one? Or like, oh yeah, my wife stole my Stanley. That's how we knew we got it right, when the family was fighting over the swag.
Just to expand on this a little bit more, and this is my own personal question. With going with such high-end Stanley Cup Nike hat and your brand going on that, does that create confidence as you rebrand?
Yeah, I think that's a good call out. I think we all want to be in good company, right? Like we all choose quality things in our life because it's a reflection of us in some way, whether you are consumer driven, like I kind of am, or if you just like nice things or you like things to work. I think there's a synchronicity between quality, that experience, how you value yourself, and how you value others. So yeah, I think, for me, I wouldn't have chosen like a generic hat. I was like, ooh, the Nike hat, that's going to be powerful. I'd rather have the Stanley and a Nike hat and spend a little less on the whole box if we had to, than have a generic hat that no one really wants to wear, or like the dupe Stanley. So I think that affiliation is powerful and sends lots of signals.
And it probably helps with the buy-in for the new rebrand as well.
Yes. They're like, yay, I got new stuff. Exactly.
And finally, have you seen any direct business impact from your gifting efforts?
Love this question. Honestly, it's not always a transactional direct ROI when it comes to gifting or any of these employee experience things that we talked about today. And that's by design. And for us, gifting is about gratitude. It's about engagement. It's not about an instant transaction. It's, we see you, we appreciate you. It's not a give and take. I did this for you. What are you doing for me now? And I feel like that trust doesn't automatically show up in pipeline attribution, which is how marketing is measured, but it does show up in relationship quality building attribution. So it's not going to pay you tomorrow. It's kind of like a mutual fund. You keep investing with money and then also authenticity in your gift giving. And it's going to over time build long-term value. So I think it's super powerful. And I think especially in today's world where everything is automated, you don't know if that email you're getting is from an AI bot or a real human. The gifting really helps and cuts through that and makes it more personalized and makes it more human. So I think it opens doors. I think it softens conversations. And it really just helps people feel like more than a transaction or a deal stage.
That's great. We really appreciate your time and explaining how brand loyalty can be built with strategic gifting. Is there anything, final words you have for those watching and listening?
I would just say that aside from giving gifts and thinking about your gift giving strategy, it's just as important to think about the vendor that you're working with. I actually, when I started, Printfection was already been vetted. I had another vendor I worked with before, and I liked them, and they were great. But one of the things I was really impressed with about Printfection was they have a platform that makes it all easy. And not only were they just like software as a service, they also had a tremendous customer service element to it. So there's the software and there's the platform, and that makes it very easy. But when you're setting it up and you're like, hey, how do we handle all these logistics? And like, how do we get all these boxes to people's houses during this time? And like, hey, we want the messaging to be like this, and we have all these caveats. You can't really just do it all online. You have to talk to humans. And our account team, Brooke on the team, she was amazing. Everyone we worked with at Printfection has been fabulous. So gift giving is important, but you got to choose the right partner. It's not just about a platform. You also need that level of service and care. So really thankful for the Printfection team and really excited to keep working with them.